I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out.
The former First Lady appears to signal her support for reproductive rights in a video out yesterday. The former president says he thinks his wife should be allowed to think for herself. Why can't she just be her own woman and have separate?
And she can.
And so why all that criticism? I mean, that was gross from The View. After a liberal media member for vile comments about Melania Trump. The View is not the litmus test of America. We don't think that.
They were afraid of that remark. That was their problem.
So why did they handle it that way?
What happens when you mess with Melania Trump? Well, let's just say it's not a good idea, especially when she's backed by one of the biggest legal victories in media history. Melania just scored a jaw-dropping $900 million settlement, and this isn't just about money, it's a game-changer for media accountability. But how did it all go down? Let's break it down and dive into the shocking details. It all started with a statement that most people probably thought was just another offhand comment from The View co-host Sunny Hostin. But this wasn't any normal claim. Sunny boldly went on live TV and psychoanalyzed Melania, claiming that she hated her husband and was only staying married to him for financial gain. No proof, no evidence, just pure speculation. It was the kind of thing that could ruin anyone's reputation if left unchallenged. And what made this even worse was that no one pushed back, not a single co-host questioned it. They all nodded along, treating her words as fact, as if they were all in on some secret truth about Melania's marriage. This wasn't just a casual comment, this was a direct attack on her character. This claim was meant to destroy her credibility and no one was stepping up to stop it. They had crossed a line. But as we'd find out soon, that wasn't the whole story. You see, Melania Trump had been through the media grinder for years. The press constantly painted her as cold, detached, and opportunistic, as if she was just an accessory to Donald Trump. Every move she made was under a microscope, twisted into something sinister. The media seemed determined to portray her as the worst possible version of herself, picking apart every action she took and turning it into a negative narrative. But Melania didn't fight back. She remained silent, staying above the noise. That is until now. This time enough was enough. Instead of letting The View get away with what was clearly a baseless defamatory attack, Melania decided to fight back. She wasn't just going to let them get away with it, and when she did, the world took notice. Her legal team filed a bombshell defamation lawsuit that didn't just claim damage to her reputation, it brought receipts. Melania didn't rely on opinion, she had hard evidence showing that The View had a history of bias, especially against conservative women. It wasn't just one comment, it was a pattern of media outlets attacking right-leaning figures while sugarcoating or ignoring scandals involving left-leaning personalities. Melania wasn't just any first lady, she was an example of how the media could tear down anyone they disagreed with. And the legal battle that followed was nothing short of intense. The View tried everything they could to downplay the situation. ABC executives scrambled to defend themselves, claiming that everything said on The View was protected by free speech, as if that would somehow absolve them of the damage they caused. But Melania's legal team laid out an overwhelming case. There was no room for doubt. The View's reckless rhetoric wasn't just off-the-cuff banter, it was a deliberate, coordinated effort to tear down anyone they didn't like. They had crossed the line and Melania wasn't backing down. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for accountability. When the jury finally delivered its verdict, it was as shocking as it was historic, $900 million in damages. For the ABC it was a financial nightmare. The View had been a flagship show for decades, beloved by millions, but now, with this massive defamation settlement, its future was uncertain. Industry insiders were already suggesting that the ABC might have no choice but to cancel the show entirely. Ratings had been slipping for years, advertisers were pulling out, and now they had to face the reality of a catastrophic lawsuit that could destroy the credibility of their flagship program. And what about Sunny Hostin? Well, let's just she's probably not sleeping well at night. Not only did her reckless words cost the ABC nearly $1 billion, but now she's facing serious fallout. Rumors have already surfaced that the ABC executives are in crisis mode, discussing whether or not to fire Sunny to save face. Even if she somehow manages to keep her job, the truth is, her credibility has been shattered. For years, she positioned herself as a moral authority, someone who called out others for their wrongdoings. But now she's the one who triggered the biggest defamation lawsuit in TV history. She is no longer the voice of reason. Can anyone take her seriously anymore? The fallout is already spreading beyond ABC and The View. The media industry is on edge, realizing that Melania's lawsuit might just be the catalyst for a broader reckoning. If The View, one of the most powerful and long-running talk shows on TV, can be taken down for reckless defamation, what does that mean for the rest of the media? What does it mean for other talk shows, political commentators, or anyone who thinks they can get away with tearing down public figures for the sake of ratings? The days of unchecked bias might be numbered. Industry experts are saying that this legal action could inspire others to file lawsuits against media outlets that spread lies. And if that happens, we could be looking at a seismic shift in how media operates. But the damage to ABC doesn't stop with the settlement. The financial hit is one thing, but the real blow comes from the reputational harm. Major advertisers are quietly pulling out of the show, not wanting to associate with a program that's been exposed for its reckless behavior. There's serious talk now about pulling the plug on The View entirely, or at the very least firing the most controversial hosts. And at the top of that list? You guessed it, Sunny Hostin. Since the verdict came down, Sunny has been suspiciously quiet. Normally she'd be all over social media defending her actions and doubling down on her so-called truths, but this time, she's been nowhere to be found. She's not posting, not engaging, and avoiding interviews. And really, who can blame her? The backlash is overwhelming, and now she's staring down the possibility of being fired from ABC. If sacrificing her career is the only way to salvage the reputation of The View, then that might just be what ABC does. But this is about more than just one host or one show. The lawsuit has exposed a dangerous pattern in the media, one where public figures, especially conservative ones, are targeted without evidence. The View has spent years branding itself as the moral compass of daytime television, yet when the truth about their own actions came to light, they folded under pressure. They spent years portraying themselves as the champions of truth, but now they're the ones being held accountable. And Melania's victory is a powerful reminder that no one is untouchable, not even the biggest media outlets. Now, the question is, what does this mean for the future of media? Will other public figures start to fight back in the same way? Will we see more lawsuits, more accountability, and more exposure of media bias? Melania's case has already set a precedent, and it's making waves across the industry. If media outlets like The View can be held accountable for their actions, others will have to think twice before slandering people for the sake of ratings. So, what's next? Will ABC pull the plug on The View? Will Sunny Hostin face the ultimate fallout? And will this lawsuit embolden other public figures to take legal action against media outlets who spread lies? One thing's for sure, this is a reckoning the media never saw coming, and the world is watching to see how far this fallout will go. Meanwhile, Melania Trump is walking away from this battle stronger than ever. She didn't just win a lawsuit, she won back respect. She took on one of the most powerful daytime talk shows in America and came out victorious. The narrative surrounding her has changed completely. No longer the silent political spouse, Melania has proven that she's more than capable of standing her ground. The message is clear: if you mess with Melania Trump, be prepared for the consequences.